You want to take the risk, trust yourself again, and finally give the dream in your heart a real chance. But every time you prepare to move, your mind brings back everything that has gone wrong before. The money you lost, the opportunity that disappeared, the business that failed, the moment you trusted yourself and ended up disappointed. And fear tells you this is proof that it is going to happen again. But that is a misconception, bro. Your past's not always predicting your future. Sometimes fear is only memory pretending to be prophecy. And after more than 10 years as an entrepreneur, 5 years as a coach, and 11 years of doing deep inner work, working with more than 50 clients, I have seen people abandon opportunities that could change their lives because an old failure convinced them that a new attempt would end the same way. In this video, I want to show you how 2 painful setbacks almost controlled one of the biggest decisions of my life. Why never trying can cost you more than failure ever could. And how to make one intelligent risk within the next 24 hours. Because failure may hurt for a season, but the regret of never discovering what is possible can follow you for years. First thing I want to share with you is that fear is a memory, not a prediction. Fear feels convincing because it rarely speaks like fear. It speaks like logic, experience, responsibility, intuition, common sense, self-protection. It tells you already tried. Remember what happened last time? Don't embarrass yourself again. Don't lose more money. You should be realistic. This is probably a sign to stop. You see, your mind takes one painful experience and turns it into a rule about the future. A failed business becomes, I can't build a business. A rejection becomes, people do not value what I offer. A lost investment becomes, I can't trust my decisions. One unsuccessful launch becomes, nobody wants what I created. And I have lived all of these, bro. I've thought things about myself that weren't true. And I thought all the negative shit was true because I didn't know that this was a part of the process. I didn't know that failure was a teacher, that I needed these lessons to grow, to become, to develop. But I was just trying to confirm stuff that I believed about myself already, that I wasn't enough, that I was a failure, that I was a loser, all these negative beliefs that I was just trying to validate and confirm externally. And I realized that an event from your past is not the same as a law governing your future. Bro, I bet you're not the same person you were when all those failures, quote unquote, happened. I bet you've changed. I bet your skills have changed. I bet your awareness has changed. Your resources, relationships, and strategy and ability to recover may have changed. But fear keeps showing you old evidence while ignoring the person you have already become since then. You see, bro, sometimes fear of failure is really the fear of having to grieve another imagined future. You don't only fear losing money or being rejected. You fear allowing yourself to hope again and then having that hope taken from you. So you protect the dream by never fully testing it. But hope that is never risked eventually becomes another prison. I experienced this before, one of the biggest changes of my life, when I was preparing to move and got scammed, not once, but twice in the same fucking month. 3 years ago, I was living in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I was getting ready to move to Austin, Texas, to start a new chapter, to begin fresh. And there was so much uncertainty around the decision, and I didn't fully have the money and resources that I needed to make this leap. And the month before I moved with my girlfriend, we were scammed twice. One with DoorDash and one for making the deposit at the house that we were trying to move into. Each experience gave fear even more material. It easily sounded like this move is already going wrong. Maybe I can't trust myself. Maybe this is a sign that I should stay. What happens if I move and I lose even more? You see, bro, I got in debt. That scam cost me $3,000 that I needed, and I worked my ass off to save. I had $5,000 saved, and the fucking scammers took $3,000. And when it came to the DoorDash scam, I worked the whole week, and it happened at the end of the week after I already did the work. And they deposited into their freaking bank account, and DoorDash never paid me back, even though I went through their process. One could say I got fucked. Right? And it's crazy that it happened the same month. And I remember I was so angry. I was so frustrated. I couldn't believe it. But we had to move because the rent was going up by $300 and we didn't have that. And not only that, the day before we had to move out, I was doing DoorDash and I got a call from one of the apartment managers, and she asked me why our stuff isn't taken out yet. And I said, I thought we have a couple more days. And she's like, no, your lease ends tomorrow. And it was a day from hell. Me and my girlfriend had to go back, stop doing DoorDash, and pack like crazy. I took a pre-workout because I needed energy, and we were packing and putting it into the U-Haul truck for about like 8 hours straight, bro. We didn't finish till like 3 in the morning. It was raining. We had to carry our freaking boxes to the U-Haul while it was raining. We were exhausted. Then we had to go find a hotel. It was brutal. And I couldn't believe it. But that's life sometimes. There's bullshit like that happens, and definitely set me back because I went into debt and it was hard to recover from that. But we all have a story, bro. We all have shit that happens to us. Bob Proctor used to say, I can share stories with you that'll fuck up your whole week. That's how it goes. And just, you got to bounce back. You know, we've all gone through bullshit. And I've never been scammed like that before. But scams are real, bro. And the pain and the consequences were real too. I'm not pretending or saying that I wasn't pissed off at everything that happened. But what I am saying is that I had to separate what actually happened from what fear predicted what would happen next. Because we were still okay. And I won't deny it. At the time, because we got scammed twice, I was thinking to myself that the entire move would fail, that I couldn't trust myself, that if I kept trying to figure it out, it would just create more pain. But it wasn't true. It was a big lesson. I learned what I could. I became more aware. I changed what needed to change, but I refused to let those experiences write the ending of a chapter that had not even begun. There was a part of me that wanted to play victim. I was a victim, but that would have got me nowhere. So I had to course correct fast. I still moved. The scams happened on the path, but it didn't invalidate the path. It's always going to be walls. There's always going to be things that come up. Deeper realization was that those setbacks were evidence that something had gone wrong, but they weren't evidence that everything ahead of me would go wrong. There's a difference, bro. They're not the same thing. Maybe you've had a failed business, a relationship that ended, a launch that produced nothing, a plan that you believed so much and you felt it in your heart and you didn't get much out of it. An investment that didn't pay off, content that nobody watched, the opportunity that disappeared, the person who betrayed your trust. That pain deserves to be acknowledged. The lesson deserves to be learned. But the past does not automatically deserve control over your next decision. You can't keep making choices out of fear, out of shit that happened. It happened, bro. Behind every adversity, there is an equal to or greater opportunity. Find the opportunity. Because if not, you're going to play victim and you're going to have a million reasons why this shit ain't for you, why your dream is not meant for you, why you should give up, why you should stop trying. There is no logic to it sometimes. You act because it's who you are, because it's what in your heart you know you came here to do. It's your mission, your life purpose. It's what makes you feel alive, and that's why you do it. See, bro, I could allow 2 painful experiences to make me more aware without allowing them to make me more afraid of my entire future. Now I want to go into regret and failure because regret is more expensive than failure, bro. You see, fear keeps you focused on the immediate pain of trying, losing money, looking foolish, being rejected, experiencing that same painful experience again, starting over, feeling disappointed, feeling like a failure, having to admit that something didn't work. But fear rarely shows you the long-term cost of avoidance. Another year in the wrong life, another opportunity you never tested, another version of yourself you never met, another person you could have helped, another dream that remained imaginary. The question, what would have happened if I had tried? All that goes back to regret. I remember when I was going through some tough times, I was building my coaching business and being an entrepreneur and wanting to stop. I asked myself, am I going to regret this 10 years from now? And the answer was, yeah. If I stopped, if I gave up on helping people and doing this right here, what I love, what I enjoy, if I gave up because I'm not where I want to be yet or because it hasn't reached the potential that I would like it to yet, I would definitely regret it. And that was my answer. So I had to keep going. And I started to view failure more as information, experience, skill, clarity, resilience, a better direction, proof that I can survive disappointment. I saw how strong I was, how resilient I was, and I thought I was weak. I thought I was the opposite. There is so much strength that's developed through this process, through walking this path, through building your dream, your business. Hope you know how strong you are, bro. But I get why people go into avoidance. It gives you a temporary relief. I get that. I want you to remember this. Failure may create temporary pain, but avoidance, it can create permanent questions. Now, I'm not saying, bro, to take reckless acts, reckless risks, ignore warning signs, repeat the same mistake, right? Don't keep banging your head against the wall trying something that obviously isn't working. Refuse to prepare. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying to gamble everything blindly, to be dumb about it, to romanticize losing. I'm saying learn from the past without allowing the past to become a prison. Take intelligent risks, improve the process, ask better questions, get support, protect yourself where protection is necessary. Then move. Because the goal is not to become careless. The goal is to stop calling fear wisdom every time it tells you to stay small. Now we're going to turn failure into data. Most people treat failure like a courtroom. The outcome becomes the judge, bro. The mistake becomes the evidence, and they become the accused. Failure should be treated like an experiment. Ask yourself, what did this attempt teach me? What assumption was incorrect? What skill was missing? What warning did I ignore? There's always red flags. What worked better than I expected? What needs to change before the next attempt? What should I keep, right? You got to know what you should keep doing and what you should not. A mistake is not a moral failure. Being wrong doesn't make you stupid, bro. A plan failing doesn't make you incapable. It means reality gave you information. I want you to realize this. The person most afraid of failure often tries to protect the image that they have potential. But as long as they never fully test themselves, they'll keep telling themselves, I could have done it. But potential that remains protected never becomes capability. Capability is built through attempt. Once you attempt, you get information. Then you can adjust. Then you can have another attempt, another go at it. Failure stops being terrifying when it becomes part of the process instead of a verdict at the end of it. Failure is the way. Failure is the process. Failure is not the end. Now I want to walk you through something called the fear forecast reset. Pause the video and complete these 4 statements. First one, you're going to name the memory. The past failure my mind keeps bringing back is fill in the blank. Name the actual experience. Don't minimize it. Second statement. This is about naming the prediction. Because that happened, fear keeps predicting that fill in the blank will happen again. What's going to happen again, bro? What fear are you afraid to repeat? Or what experience are you afraid to repeat? Separate the event from the forecast. Number 3, this is updating the evidence. What is different about me, my strategy, or my circumstance now is fill in the blank. What's different about it now, bro? Because you know you're not in the same place with the same person. Maybe you know more. Maybe you have better boundaries. Maybe you have more experience, more wisdom. Maybe you understand the market better, your audience better. Maybe you're more determined. You're more committed. Maybe you recognize the warning signs. You have more support. You're more emotionally resilient and intelligent. You know how to recover. You know how to start again. You know how to bounce back. You know how to get back up. Maybe now you're willing to change the strategy. Number 4, this is about reclaiming the next decision. Last step, the statement is, if my past were information instead of prophecy, the action I would take within the next 24 hours is fill in the blank, bro. What would you do if the fear wasn't there? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail and you didn't let what happened get in the way anymore? Would you restart the project, the podcast, send the proposal, publish the video, apply for the opportunity, move where you actually want to move? Maybe it's somewhere else than from where you live. Have the conversation with yourself or with somebody that you know needs to be had. Research the next step. Ask for qualified support. Invest in yourself. Take one protected but intelligent risk. What would you do? And I'm not saying to gamble your whole life tonight, okay? But I'm saying take one action that gives reality the opportunity to provide new evidence. Because when you eliminate fear's control by creating new evidence that your past is not the only possible future, this is when you start to win. Now, bro, remember the goal is not to forget everything that happened to you. The failure happened. The rejection happened. The money was lost. Opportunity disappeared. The dream may have broken your heart. It's all valid. But that experience doesn't automatically know what happens next. Before moving to Austin, Texas, I was scammed twice during the season when I needed every resource I had. I needed that money at the time. Fear could have used those experiences as proof that the move was wrong, that I could not trust myself, and that more pain was waiting for me. Instead, I allowed the experience to teach me without allowing them to predict me. I became more aware. I made adjustments. I kept moving. Your past can inform your next decision. Just learn from your fucking mistakes, bro. It doesn't get to own you. So complete the fear forecast reset exercise. Again, name the memory. Identify the future fear keeps predicting. Acknowledge what is different now. What you're doing is you're challenging the beliefs of your past. And once you challenge them and create new ones, this is when you can really start to gain momentum forward. And after you do this, take one intelligent action within the next 24 hours that gives your life a chance to create new evidence. And if fear, self-doubt, or limiting beliefs have been keeping you trapped in your past and stopping you from going all in on the work you love, on the mission, on what you came here to do, download my free audio training, Limitless. Inside, you'll learn how to break through your self-imposed limitations, expand your vision, and step into the version of yourself capable of building the business, life, and future you truly want. You can download Limitless through the link in the description. Subscribe and walk this journey with me, bro. I would love to have you here. Remember, I'm still learning how to honor what my failures have taught me without allowing them to determine what I believe is possible for my future. Fear is memory pretending to be prophecy. The past can inform you, cannot predict you. Give yourself another chance to find out what is possible, how far you can take your dream. And no matter what, do not give up on yourself.